Mitchell. I'm not sure what the call was there. But 1st and 5 for the Warriors. I assume some sort of offside was called there, but that was called extremely late. We'll see what happens here on 1st and 5 for the Warriors. And Capay up the middle, breaks a tackle, breaks another, and he is going to go all the way. That's going to be a 60-yard touchdown run. The Warriors have a 26-0 lead. The Warriors have a 26-0 lead here on Mitchell. And we'll see as the extra point team comes on. See if they can make it 27-0 here. Washington playing the way they expected to here.
What a day for Capay. He's got 3 touchdowns already. Crowned homecoming king earlier this week. Now 3 touchdowns in the homecoming football game.
He is playing well, and we'll see how long Washington continues to keep their foot on the gas. And, this is the type of game where in any other circumstance, here they're going to go for 2. They want that point back that they didn't get last time. They're going to go for 2. It's going to be Johansson in the gun. And Johansson rolling. Jed Anderson caught, touchdown. That looked exactly like Clemson's national title winning play against Alabama a few years back. So that may be something they took there from Dabo Swinney and the Clemson football team after a short timeout. 28-0. Washington leads Mitchell here on homecoming night.
Covering 65 yards, took 34 seconds.
Welcome back to Howard Wood Field here after that 60-yard touchdown run from Tupac Capay right up the middle. He just shredded them. 28-0 here early on. This is about how you expect a Warrior homecoming to go, and they will be kicking off here.
Warriors learned their lesson about underestimating teams at homecoming last year, and they're not going to make that same mistake this year. Already up by 4 scores, 9 minutes still to go in the second quarter.
And the thing is, this game could have been very different. A few plays go different. Mitchell could be right in there, but here comes Kitchens on the return here. He had a good return last time. This time, not so much, gets knocked out. The 29 seemingly off his own man. Just couldn't find space there in between the blockers. So Mitchell comes out, and I would say this is a crucial one, but right now it looks like no matter what they do, they're not going to be looking at the greatest chance here to pull off an upset. Good for Washington. It'll be interesting to see how long they keep their foot on the gas here, because coming off of 2 wins, they might go through the whole way. And just this is a confidence builder for them.
But with Johansson, obviously it is a non-football injury, the appendix, but still not.
And here's a run by Nelson. Nelson gets the outside, and he gets the first down as he pushes forward as Zachary Ledoux makes a good open field tackle. That was a good designed run there from Mitchell. That has been really one of their strengths tonight. One of the few bright spots for them here.
And Mitchell finally starting to run with the quarterback on the outside like Washington does and picks up their best quarterback run of the day.
And now it's going to be 1st and 10 from the 41. 1st and 10 from the 41. Nelson in the gun. Kitchens back there with him. No, excuse me, that's going to be, I believe that's Carson Max back there with him. And weird snap there, so he's just going to run with it. Nelson breaking tackles, gets to the 50. That's going to be 1 yard short of a first down. And I got to say, Nelson right now is making some things happen. I mean, of course, 28-0. Obviously, 28-point comebacks aren't that typical, but hey, anything can happen if they can get this quarterback run to continue it has been.
Good for Mitchell to be down by 4 scores early on. They're sticking to the run game, trying to tire that Warrior difference, not just throw, like you see so many teams do when they're down.
Yes. Yeah, I think we can both agree that it is crucial, though, that they get a score here before half. So we'll see what Nelson does here. Hand off to Kitchen, who just does his job and gets first down there on 2nd and short. That's good. A lot of coaches like to dial up play action on 2nd and 1. smart there to just run it, get the first down, then that you have a whole new set of downs to work with. So we'll see here as Mitchell is moving the ball here. They're at the 48, and they have 1st and 10. Now Nelson again, they'll be running that same formation. Expect them to dial up a run. It's been working for them. Hand off to Kitchens again. This time goes the opposite side. Keeps his feet moving, and he gets a good 6 yards. I mean, right now, they look like they're working things on the offensive line. They're working hard in the trenches, and they're getting some good holes here.
I'm not sure if the worried run defense is just letting them have it. This is too early to kind of put your foot off the gas, or if this is a vulnerable weakness for Washington, this run defense.
Yeah, well, like we said, this is the first kind of power run-first offense that they face, so we'll see how that works here as they come out in that same formation. That's the formation that's been working, having the fullback right next to the quarterback, and then, of course, the running back a few feet behind, and the handoff again up the middle. Kitchens, not as successful this time, but brings up 3rd and 2.
You don't see a lot of fullbacks, especially in football, and Sioux Falls, most of these Sioux Falls teams don't have fullbacks.
That is true. The fullback is a dying breed in today's football, as you see with the adoption of the spread in a lot of teams, especially in college, and as that works through, eventually the NFL will be doing the same thing. So the fullback, a rare breed, but it can be extremely useful in games like this.
Want a power run offense, you need a good fullback, and Mitchell seems to have that so far.
And they'll come in and out in that exact same formation. And Nelson keeps it on the read option. Gets outside. Still going. That's going to be another 1st down. And they are not giving up on that run. They have not thrown a pass yet.
Mitchell finally starting to realize maybe we should run with the quarterback, run with Nelson on the outside. And it's paying dividends for him so far.
It is. I got to say, one advantage that Mitchell has is the fact that they have a fullback. A lot of Sioux Falls teams don't. A lot of them are pass heavy.
No, Washington will run out a lineman like Peyton Newsman as the fullback, but that's only for select plays. This is a constant fullback presence on this Kernals team.
And now they're going to stick with that same formation. It wouldn't surprise me if they stuck with that same run play. It has worked for them here in this 2nd quarter. This is the kind of drive, of course, that you wish would have happened earlier for the Kernals. But, I mean, better late than never. I mean, if they can score here and hold Washington, and there is going to be false start there on the Kernals. So that's going to bring a 1st and 15, and that makes it harder to do your run plays. When you're sitting at 1st and 15, it's hard to sit there and say, let's run the ball. So we'll see what happens. Obviously, they do have all their downs. So
and they did look like they had drawn up a nice pitch play on there, but that was blown dead due to the flag.
And now are they going to switch up the formation? No, they just actually, I think they just brought in a different fullback and moved the usual fullback, Carson Max, back there, and he gets the handoff and he pushes the pile, and they get back to 1st and 10, near 1st and 10, near to the 10, to 2nd and 10 there, so almost 5 yards. Mark it for 4. That's an interesting play to put your fullback back like a running back there. Get some more power in the offense, and that's what they need. Of course, this has been a longer drive. The clock has been moving the whole time. We'll see. And obviously you look at it and say, well, they're down 28-0. They got to get points. But it is still the first half. If they can make it 28-7 before half, nothing's off the table.
They do get the ball to start the second half.
They do get the ball.
So you want to score before half and get the ball right after.
And then the option play, he keeps it, and still moving is Nelson. He's still on his feet. He's being dragged down by his jersey at the 10, and he makes it to the 9. They're going to mark him down at the 9. Huge play. It looked like he was shut down after, 6-7 yards, and he breaks it off, keeps it going. So Warriors right now, they're facing, their opponent has 1st and 10. This is the first time their opponent's been in the red zone.
And Mitchell had looking to do a toss in that play, but Washington sniffed that out, so they had just run up the middle, try and get a few yards, and great run by Nelson there.
A good option keep there by Nelson. So it'll be Nelson here again in that formation that has worked so well, and I believe that's going to be false start on the Kernals. No, that's going to be, they're going to call, that's going to go on the Warriors. Encroachment there on the Warriors, and that's going to be half distance to the goal. They're going to get to about the 4.5-yard line here, so that's a help there for the Kernals. 3:36 left in the half. They could get a momentum builder, but the danger is if Washington scores right back, that squashes all momentum.
Washington knows they're going to run here. They're loading up the box right now and see if Mitchell can fool them with some type of run.
And they're going to run to the outside. They have space. That's Kitchens. That's going to be a touchdown for Mitchell. Mitchell is on the board here at Howard Wood Field, 28-6 on Washington's homecoming. Credit to Mitchell. They stuck with the run every single play that drive, and it worked. It paid dividends. And that's not what you expect against this defensive line of Washington.
Especially down 20-0. You don't expect a heavy run presence, let alone a run-only drive, but it worked for Mitchell, and
it worked extremely well for Mitchell. 28-6, 3:17 left in the first half. Hey, they're still in this one. And now it's going to be number 1, Trevor Lambert on the kick. We saw him kick one. He missed it, the long field goal, but this is an extra point. This one should be good. Excuse me, I jinxed him. Caught that one weird. It's going to be 28-6 after he missed that one short. Might have been tipped as it was hit, but either way, 28-6. Washington leads Mitchell here on homecoming night.
3:17 remaining in the first half. Mitchell Kernals 6, Washington Warriors 28.
All right, we are back to Howard Wood Field here as Washington High is going to get the ball at the 35 after the kick went out of bounds. And Tupac Capay on that last 60-yard touchdown run, he went and celebrated by throwing the ball up to the fans. I believe he's throwing to his parents. He has broken the rushing touchdown record for high school in the state of South Dakota, beating Brandon Moore's record. That's an outstanding accomplishment here for the young man.
Capella has been starting regularly since a sophomore, and he's proven to be one of the best backs in the state.
And now the handoff to Barons here. Continue.
Definitely could be on his way to a possible FCS, South Dakota State, or USD after this year.
Yes, he has been one of the best running backs in the state. His sophomore year, he was dominant. So we will see where he goes his future. We wish him all luck we can. And here's Barons, the running back, in and gets tackled well in the open field, but gets a first down. So Washington looking to get a score here before half. They kind of want to put a stamp on this game because right now 28-6, Mitchell still has it in him to stay with this team.
Interesting. They have Barons in here. Capella already has 3 rushing touchdowns, and maybe they're just going to start resting him here.
He has struggled with injury over his career. Picked off! Mitchell picks the ball off. That's number 24. That is number 24, Peyton Nash on the pick. That's a huge play for Mitchell, especially if they can get down and score before half. I got to say, everything kind of stopped there for a second. It looked like there was no one. And I saw there were open receivers. I'm not sure why Jaden chose to throw it there, and he did not throw it well. Jed Anderson tried to push the guy off at the last second. It didn't matter.
And Johansson, you'd have to assume, might have to shake off a little bit of rust after missing last week's game, but not too much, especially against a AA team like the Mitchell Kernals.
But here comes Mitchell. So Mitchell first down at the 35. And now Nelson. Quick throw and trying to get his receiver on a hitch route. Did not work out. Threw it too short.
It should be noted, Johansson's also coming off his worst performance as a high school quarterback, that 29-0 loss to Roosevelt.
This is his first game back, but he has performed well until that pick. So we'll see if things keep going that way. But 2.5 minutes left in this half. A handoff to Kitchen on the jet sweep. Kitchen on the outside cuts, and he's going to get to third and half a yard here for the for the Kernals. So good play drawn up there, good run play. Way to get a chance for a big play in the run, because right now the run has been big. So now 3rd and 1. It'll be Nelson in the shotgun. Quick throw, and he missed it. I'm not sure why they threw the ball there. I understand there's only 2 minutes left here in the quarter, but, I mean, now you're forced to punt here from the 44.
With 4th and 1. Mitchell, great ground game, and they look to stay. They're probably going to run it.
They probably are going to go for it. This is a gutsy move here by Mitchell, but you got to think, if they were playing go for it anyways, why not run the football there on 3rd and 1? We'll see what happens here. The Warriors are going to load the box. They're going to throw it. Nelson's going to have to get away from Derland, who can't catch up. The long throw, and he floated that one, and he had a man. That I'm not sure about those last 2 play calls.
If you're Mitchell, who just had the best drive of the game solely running, I understand the pass on the first down, but 3rd and 4th and 1.
They have 2 timeouts left.
I
think you just got to get the first down there. I don't care if the time runs out. Now you give Washington a chance to score. That puts you in, once again, a 28-point hole that you just can't afford at this point. So big stop there by Washington. And now it'll be Johansson again with Barons in the backfield. It'll be interesting. Tupac, they might just be saving him here. He has struggled with injuries over his high school career. Obviously, it hasn't stopped him from scoring, as he has, of course, the record for rushing touchdowns. So that's Luke Barons on the stop there. Luke Barons on the run there. He gets 2 yards. We'll see what Washington tries to do. It would not surprise me if they try to get a score, because a score here virtually puts this game out of reach. And right now, Mitchell did not look ready for that, and the long bomb was nowhere near the receivers. And Mitchell wasn't even ready for that play. It didn't look like a linebacker to come over quick to try and get on Anderson.
Not sure what's going on with Mitchell here, but they're starting to have some silly mistakes.
They got to get out of this half quick, because right now, if the half ends and Washington hasn't scored, they're in an okay position. Of course, they'll need everything to go their way in the second half, but as of right now, they're looking okay. They need a stop here on 3rd and 8. Oh, and the blitz comes, and Johansson gets sacked. That's a loss of 10 there for Johansson. No, excuse me, that's going to be a loss of 8. Johansson he was trying to ask Statham to go for it. Statham is not going to go for it. Minute 5 left. I assume Mitchell's going to let Washington run out the clock here. And as Barons is going to come on to punt. Good stop there by Mitchell. They made mistakes, but Washington also did as well. Big play there for Mitchell.
Like I said, Mitchell can just get out of this half and be down only 22, come back, have a strong second half.
And now we're going to get a timeout, I believe, unless a flag was thrown. There is going to be a flag thrown back there, and something, I believe it was one of the 2 returners.
They're the only people back there.
I'm not sure what was called. It's going to just bring up 4th down. No, a penalty will be given. It'll be a 5-yard penalty. I'm not sure what happened there. That's weird. But it'll be Washington again to kick. 30 seconds left here. More likely than not, 28-6 is going to be your score heading into halftime. If you're Mitchell, what do you think about this?
Well, you lost that momentum early, but you had a great drive running the ball, and then you stopped running the ball and you turned the ball over. Now you got to come out second half running a lot, and just because that's your strength right now, run the ball and try and stop these Warriors receivers, and you have a chance to still be in this game.
That is of course Mitchell. They do have a chance to be in this game, and now a timeout called here by Washington. They wanted to just bleed the clock down to 9 seconds. It'll be interesting with 9 seconds left. There's a chance they maybe try and take a shot. Why else let it run to completion?
I wouldn't say a shot as much as if Mitchell's best chance of scoring here is on the punt return. Washington has given up a punt return to Tyler Feldkamp of Roosevelt 2 weeks ago.
Of course, Feldkamp is a special athlete.
Is a very, very special athlete, of course, probably better than these two Kernal returners, but does show weakness in Washington's punt return. You saw the weakness in the kick return coverage earlier today.
Exactly. So we'll see what happens here on this 4th and 12. They're going to reset the clock to 11 seconds here as Mitchell will be returning on the punt, and we'll see what Washington elects to do here with the punt. So we'll see if Mitchell can dial anything up in the return game. And if you're Washington, what do you think about this position?
Well, you're going into half most likely up by 22 points, and this is a good start, but this is against a AA team. You should be winning against a AA team by a decent amount.
And the fair catch there by Kitchens. He made sure he grabbed on that. It's going to be 4 seconds left here in the half.
Washington has an easy slate of games coming up, really. Their next, I know all these games are good teams, but you have a Rapid City game coming up next weekend, Stevens, and you have those kind of Aberdeen teams.
The
really
teams that you expect Washington to beat.
The next Sioux Falls Challenge will be Lincoln, their last game of the season. It's really Washington's next chance against a really good team will come in the playoffs.
Yes, unless, of course, Lincoln continues to build on, and a solid start. They are definitely improving from the last 2 years, Lincoln. But they have Washington has a lot of confidence building games coming up. So, and it's going to be a knee there by the Kernals. And going in half, Washington leads Mitchell 28-6. We'll be back at the end of the half.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the field for a homecoming day performance of the 2018 Warrior Marching Band show. Their 2018 performance of Koya Niskatsi, drawing its title from the Hopi language, meaning life out of balance. Koya Niskatsi is a renowned documentary, circa 1982, that shows how humanity has grown away from nature, featuring extensive footage of natural landscapes, elemental forces. The film gives way to images of technology, humans, and modern civilization. The film has no narration and ultimately tells its story through a series of images and music. Presenting the music of award-winning composer Philip Glass, the Washington Warriors will take you on a transformational journey, showing what destruction can occur when humans and technology are introduced to nature in all of its beauty. Drum majors Andrew Deaver, Mariska Garat, and Emmanuel Michael. Is your band ready? Washington Warrior Marching Band, you may now take the field in exhibition performance of Koya Niskatsi. Ladies and gentlemen, the Washington Warrior Marching Band with Foot in his cups. Warrior Marching Band will be in competition tomorrow as they travel to Omaha, Nebraska to the Wildcat Classic.
Sticking around for any of the second game?
Kinda, come on, get the game. What do you want?
Are you sticking around for any of the second game? Okay.
Are you?
Yeah.
How come?
It's football.
Football. I'm a little leery right now in my right leg though, right now. What do you do? How is Nate doing now?
Good.
Yeah, I visited with him a little bit.
Yeah, he's doing fine. So far.
Good. That's good. Yeah. See you later.
Yeah, I can back down to work.
Yeah, get to work.
the other cut runs out you right. In other words, as soon as you get done with your shot, you're not on.
Welcome back to Washington High here as we are set to kick off the second half here at homecoming night for Washington against Mitchell, 28-6. And that first half, it was all Washington from about halfway through the first to halfway through the second. But Mitchell had some real bright spots.
Yeah, and if they can stick with that running game that led them to their only touchdown drive, they can stay in this game as long as the defense shows up here.
It'll be crucial here for Mitchell. They're going to have to score here. This is a tone setter, and Washington with the kick. That's Barons. Gets solid connection. They'll take it at the 10. That'll be Kitchens, I believe. Kitchens going to get wrapped up at the 33. Oh, they're going to mark him at the 34. They will get the ball there for 1st and 10. We'll see if Nelson comes back out, and we'll see what they do on offense, because down by 22, a lot of teams would tend to run the ball, but they were down by 28, and they ran it the whole way, and they scored.
Well, and the problem with the passing game is Keel Nelson's only 3 of 12 for 19 yards. The running game, meanwhile, he's ran for 64 yards, so even the quarterback's a better runner than passer at this point.
Those stats, though, the thing about those stats, they got to look at it. They have had open receivers. That's the thing. So we'll see what they decide to do, and right now they're going to run that QB draw, and it gets them a lot of yards, and I'll tell you what, he just absolutely, he took a hit and he just went forward for an extra few yards.
I like Keel Nelson's toughness here. He's not afraid to take a hit from any of these Warriors, whether it's linemen,
you see a lot of quarterbacks in that position. They would have just headed towards the sideline after about 10 yards.
That's what you'll see Johansson do if he runs.
And there's nothing against that. Just it's nice to see a quarterback that is also willing to put his head down and run. So Nelson again. Nelson on the option, pitches it off. And this one is to Carson Max, and honestly, he got a solid run there after it didn't look like it was going to get much. Good job to get 3 yards there. It's going to bring up 2nd and 7.
An interesting thing, both quarterbacks have a similar body build, both 200, 205 pounds, 6'3". Nelson isn't any stronger or more muscular. He's just
more accustomed. So, we'll see here as Nelson comes back out. 2nd and 7. This is kind of how they've been all day. 1st and 10. 2nd and 7. 3rd and short. We'll see if that continues. But I would bet that they're going to continue on the run game. And they don't. The blitz is coming. Quick pass, and that is off again. Nelson right now has struggled to hit his receivers.
And they have been open in a decent amount. They
have been open.
He was wide open. Receivers open. He just floated the ball over his head. That was
another
a
one.
huge play
for
Mitchell.
Drops. I mean, right now you're looking at this secondary for Washington has been getting picked on all year. Guys, and it's interesting because there's senior leaders in that secondary, but they just have been not performing well.
Senior leaders, safeties, Nate Freeze, Robert Doherty. And corners like Zach Ledoux. Now, Ledoux is a new corner. He was a running back last year, but still he should be accustomed to it.
Zach, yes, but yeah, especially there's just been some holes here in the secondary that, Mitchell has to look to exploit, and that starts with the quarterback connecting on his throws. He does that time, and it's not going to be enough, and there's a fumble. No, they're going to say incomplete, so 4th down, you got to assume down by 22 points here. Why not go for it? You're at the 47. Mitchell, at this point, you got nothing to lose.
And the problem with that 3rd down play was the receiver was well short of the sticks before he even turned around to catch it. And Washington was all over him. There was no way he was getting a 1st down on that one. And honestly, Mitchell, it's like you said, the Warrior defense backs are being hurt here. Mitchell's having these bad passes not because of the Warrior defense, but because of their own offensive mistakes. The receivers just aren't able to catch the ball. The passes aren't as accurate as it should be.
And now it is going to be a punt here for Mitchell. So they've decided to punt the ball here, and it'll be Nelson to punt for them. And the punt is up. This one, once again, not the longest punt, but definitely better than their last punt. And that's going to be marked at the 26, I believe. So, 1st and 10 Warriors, this is a chance for them to blow this game wide open. 35-6, that would That'd be it.
I don't know. It's interesting to see. It doesn't appear. Tupac Capella will stay in for possibly this drive, but you got to believe if they score,
that should be it for him, and you can't blame him.
And possibly
Tupac,
Johansson.
and maybe Johansson, but although they would like to keep Tyus Hansen safe as well because he's been a solid receiver tight end for them. So there is a run there for Capella, gets 3 yards. And as you're saying, Capella, it'll be interesting to watch because he's been injury prone over his last 3 years as a starter, and that's something that they'd like to avoid this year, and he's going to be crucial. I mean, they already seem behind teams like Roosevelt and O'Gorman. They're going to need all their players if they want to win state. And then Capella makes a few moves, first down to the 38.
And the Roosevelt game especially has to be bothersome for Washington because you can say in the O'Gorman game, well, they didn't have a healthy quarterback. Roosevelt were his full strength, and they got shut out. They did not look good that game. Roosevelt just did more things
better. Their defense didn't perform. Their offense is performing. Here's a bad snap here. Jaden just gets on it. That's going to be a loss of 10 there for the Warriors, and they're lucky to still have the ball there. But again, that's another senior play, though, by Johansson to just get on it.
Yes, and they were having some center problems in that Roosevelt game, too. Offensive line, they're starting a freshman. It's not the greatest offensive line Washington has, and they need to improve that.
They'll need to grow over the year. Johansson gets hit as he throws, gets it anyways to Tyus Hansen. That's going to bring it back to 10 yards away from a first down. We're going to bring up 3rd and 10. And now here, 3rd and 10 for the Warriors. Johansson in the gun. Capella right next to him. And there's pressure coming, and Gabe Pearson makes a catch, and he's going to have a chance to keep running. He is an extremely athletic player, and he is going to get all the way to the 24-yard line. They're going to mark it at the 25, actually, but a good catch and run there from Pearson. Of course, the basketball star for Washington.
Gabe Pearson, one of the big storylines of this year. Most other receivers like Jacob Smith, Jay Anderson, Dylan Matson have been receivers on this team just buried on the depth chart. Pearson, this is his first year as a football player, and he is doing extremely well.
He has been one of the top targets for Jaden Johansson. And Capella now on the run, and he is going to find space, and that's going to be a touchdown for Capella. That's number 51 for him. 51 rushing touchdowns for Tupac Capella as he just tonight got that new record. And it's 34-6 here. This one is looking close to over. And now they'll bring on Frederick for the extra point. What do you think about that run?
That was a great run by Capella, and that's probably the last we'll see of him. He's had a 4-touchdown game for Washington, including breaking the record. He's really no other reason to have him just, he's a senior. Got to start being ready for next year. Who's going to take that spot?
And Frederick, that goes in.
Is it possibly Luke Behrens? He'll probably be the running back for the rest of the game.
Yeah, and Capella, as you said, 4 touchdowns now. He had 141 rush yards in the first half. He just added to that. No reason to keep him out there up 35-6 outside of possibly confidence, which is what I was talking about earlier. We'll see what they decide to do because they have been on a 2-game skid in which they've been mentally beat. So we'll see how Statham handles this one. If they keep their foot on the gas, or if they kind of slow down and keep their players healthy, he'll decide which is more important at this point. So now Behrens will kick off here for the Warriors. So Behrens getting ready to kick off here for the Warriors after that big drive there. A third big play was probably 3rd and 10. Gabe Pearson makes a catch and run, gets him to the 20, to the 25. Tupac Capella does the rest. And now the return here for Mitchell. We'll see if they can get anything going. They need a big play. And they get out to the 39 there on the return, solid return. And that's going to be 1st down and 10 for them there as Nelson will come back out. And at this point, it's more playing for pride than anything else.
Yeah, and Mitchell, they honestly give them credit. They start out the game really good. The first half of the first quarter, they looked even with this Washington team, and a few plays go differently. Mitchell could have kept the momentum. We could be looking at a closer game here, but Washington, as the favorite, takes the momentum, and Mitchell has really no chance to gain it back.
And now here's Nelson on the keep, and I mean, you got to say, although Mitchell is down by 29 points, they haven't exactly played bad.
No, the offense with Keel Nelson's the running game has looked great. It's just the defense's problem. The passing game is just, running game's great. They had a drive where they just ran and scored, but you can't do that every drive. And when they don't go to the passing game, nothing's there so far.
We'll see here if they can continue and maybe get a score. And, doing their best right now. The defense has been a problem, but that's what you expect when you have these cross-division type games. And now Kitchens on the run gets another solid game. Washington will look at this, 35-6 here early in the third. They should be on their way to winning this one handily. They'll look at this and gain some confidence from it, but this hasn't been the best game from Washington.
And this is against Mitchell. If O'Gorman and Roosevelt and Brandon win this week, then I could see Washington staying at third.
Well, more likely than not, they will stay at 4. A win against Mitchell shouldn't jump them up. They'll be sitting at 2-2, good to get back to 500. But this is of course a start, but they'll need to build on things for the rest of the year. And that's picked off by Freddie Frederick. Can he go? He's all the way to the 20. He cuts in. He has a chance here going across field, and that is going to be a pick 6. Freddie Frederick. Washington with a huge pick 6, and that seals the fate of this one.
Like you said, that passing game from Keel Nelson has not been there all day, and that just put an emphasis on the passing game. That's the second pick. That's a pick 6. Washington's about to take a 42-6 lead here, and they expect Mitchell to just run a bit. Washington probably won't have a lot of their starters out. You probably get to see a lot of backups, juniors and sophomores now, because
they're gonna look to make it 42-6 here. Washington handling their business here against Mitchell. A lot of positives for them, especially mentally, as Barons hits that one. 42-6 now. Like I said, a lot of positives here mentally for Washington. They end the losing streak as of now. Things are looking like that's going to be the way. And that's about all you could hope for, was it, when you're going in with a 2-game losing streak. You want to get back to winning ways, and they've done that. And they've got a string of games that they can win.
Oh yes, like I said, teams like the Rapid Cities and the Aberdeen. So I wouldn't say, with how Washington has performed, those aren't easy, simple wins. But they should. But more than likely, Washington will win most, if not all, of those games. And you won't get to see a Warrior test until that last game against Lincoln. But really, truly, they will not be tested until, I would assume, the semifinal of the playoff game against someone like a Roosevelt or an O'Gorman.
It'll be crucial here for Washington. Win all your games that you should win. They cannot be upset.
And they don't control their own. It's early in the season, top of controlling destiny, but they don't control it. And they could easily come into the playoffs as not the top seed.
And that's more likely than not going to happen when you look at it. The Sioux Falls teams rarely give up games to non-Sioux Falls teams.
It could easily be
especially undefeated undefeated Roosevelt, and undefeated O'Gorman. Right there, they're going to make a push. Brandon Valley has looked pretty strong outside of their loss to Washington.
Even that loss to Washington is only 14 points. That's a better loss to Washington.
And the return gets to 34. So that's Carter Jacobson there on the return, gets out to 34, but there's a flag down. So 42-6 here. As the Kernals are going to get the ball, but that's going to be a penalty on them. That's going to be a chop block call on the Kernals. That's going to push them back to the 22. So now with Mitchell being pushed back to 22, going to push back to 19. This puts you in a bad spot. And 6:42 left here in the third, down 42-6. You're already in a bad spot. It's about pride now.
It's about pride for Mitchell, and they play. However much they lost, the important part is they played good when this game was in reach. They played and like I said, a few, a tip ball that was an interception or just a few different plays, and Mitchell could have kept the momentum here. Don't go away. Even down 42-6, don't go away thinking, oh, we just got blown out, this was awful. You had some positives here, Mitchell. And if you're watching, you have some negatives with that first quarter being as close as it was.
There's negatives and positives for both teams out here. Of course, a big positive for Washington, though, is the mental side. They have gained a huge momental win.
A
mental win here.
Washington would have lost to Mitchell, it would have been just unspeakable. Three-time defending champion. Their skid really would have been like they're losing a double A team here. But keep the respect here, and like I said, you really can't compare them now until they get to those good Sioux Falls area teams again.
So that is now going to bring up 3rd and 2 there after a short pass. So now with it being 3rd and 2, it's going to be Nelson again. We'll see if they can get a drive going. Just a good power run drive, because really they haven't been getting dominant. They've struggled in the pass game, but the run game has been solid for them, and that's got to be a big win for them, considering how good off the defensive line for Washington is. And they get a first down there. That is a pass completed. That's something we have not seen much of from them.
No, and Mitchell starting to get the passing game slightly going, but it's garbage. You've got garbage time here, and
early on. Still the third quarter.
Early garbage time here.
Obviously, nothing's impossible, but right now you're down by 36 points. Right now you just want to get some momentum going into your next games. And Mitchell knew coming in. It's a tougher opponent. You're playing a division up. I'm sure they didn't expect to come in here and win, but they've expected to play well, and they've stuck to what they do well. And there's going to be a timeout, Mitchell. So we'll be back at the end of this timeout.
SDN's reliability and cyber protection allows you to focus on your business, but it also provides you the confidence to step away and enjoy the uptime. Howard Woodfield Wi-Fi provided by SDN Communication.
Welcome back to to Howard Wood Field. As is 1st and 10 after the completed pass for Mitchell. So now we will be looking at a 1st and 10 for Mitchell. It'll be Nelson in the gun. Another slant route working well, and they get a good 6 yards off it, but nothing more than that. Emphatically thrown down.
And Mitchell, for being only an hour away from Sioux Falls, granted, like you said, they do go to division up, but they have really not brought
many students. A lot of parents.
Good parents, but
good parent turnout, but not very many students. Although some of them could have seen, this is not going to be close of games, but they have a chance. Either way, right now, Mitchell 2nd and 3 from the 44. And now the option play, he's going to have to keep it. And he powers his way to a first down. As we've said, he's been extremely good at not going down right when getting hit. He's gotten a few extra yards.
I'll say for one thing, Mitchell, the quarterback keeper with Nelson, has always gained him at least 3 or 4 yards, if not good 10, 15-yard gains. That's a solid play for him. But
that has been run well for them, and that'll be something for the Warriors to work on in practice, although should be a pretty positive week following this homecoming win.
Yes, and you want that, especially your homecoming. You hate losing your homecoming game. And Washington They got that taste last year. They almost lost.
They
to
almost
Rapid
lost
City
that,
Stevens.
and we'll see here now as it's 1st and 10 for the Kernals, shut down there by a host of Warrior defenders. There's a lot of second string people in defense right now. Just noticed. Looks like Stadium's going to start to throw in a little bit, some more of the backups here. I mean, it's not yet the fourth quarter. I don't think it's time to put in the reserves, but it's smart play to rest your starters.
Will be interesting to see who they send out for offense. Obviously, probably not Capella, but will they keep in Johansson or Tyus Hansen? We'll see.
We'll see who they put in. They might keep in Johansson. Or here, Kitchens for Mitchell gets shut down in the backfield here. Mitchell looks to be losing a little bit of that motivation that they had. You know, being down 42-6 will do that to a person. So now that'll bring up 3rd and 10 here. The Warrior defense, they're clicking now, and they have an almost insurmountable lead. So as the sun begins to come down here at Howard Wood Field, and now Nelson, long throw, and once again he underthrew him. His man had to step on him. Nelson underthrew him, and that's been a problem for them.
That was one of the longest pass attempts I've seen today from the Kernals, and maybe it's just we don't see Heel Nelson. We haven't seen too much of it, but maybe it's just a thing of the lack of arm strength, and that's why they run the ball a lot.
And, of course, that'll bring up a 4th and 10. So Washington gets another stop, and back to return is going to be Freddie Frederick, who had the pick 6 return, and Jet Anderson as well, who also has a touchdown in this game. And now a high punt. And the Kernals down it at the 39.
Great hang time, but no distance.
No distance. So that wind, it just gets caught up in that wind, and it's not going anywhere at that point. So 1st and 10 for the Warriors at the 39-yard line, up 42-6. This is more like the Warriors we expected to see this season, and the Warriors are trotting out the second unit quarterback here. This is going to be number 17, Max Thompson, in here. Max Thompson, just a junior. Just a freshman for the Warriors. So Thompson hands off to Behrens, and Behrens gets thrown down in the backfield. So interesting to see Washington throw in the backups. I believe they have their starting offensive line, but they threw in backup skill position players. Interesting to see.
Just a key preview of the Warriors. Warriors have been dominant with these people like Capella and Johansson last year, but this is a preview of what's going to come for the future of the Warriors next few seasons with Max Thompson and Luke Behrens.
And now Thompson in the gun. And a good throw. That's Gabe Pearson. Gabe Pearson makes a snag, and he could go all the way, and he will. Max Thompson delivers a dart to Gabe Pearson. Wow. So Max Thompson showing what he can do through the air. That was a great passing play, and that makes it 48-6 there.
And great to see Max Thompson throw his first of hopefully many touchdown passes for the Washington Warriors. Only a freshman is set up just like Johansson could possibly start all next 3 years of his high school career.
Especially with Johansson being a senior. It'll be interesting to see what Washington decides to do for the future. Now Freddie Frederick on for the extra point. And the extra point is good. 49-6. Washington continues to dominate here. Homecoming night. We'll be back after a short break.
That's 40 yards for the Warriors. 2 plays, covered 61 yards for 43 seconds.
All right, welcome back to Howard Wood Field here as Luke Behrens prepares to kick off for the Warriors. 49-6. Washington does it that time on a long pass from freshman quarterback Max Thompson. He delivered a wonderful pass, stood in the pocket. He showed a lot of poise here for his first action.
It should be interesting to see. They have different, younger quarterback, running back. See if they have some younger receivers in here for possible preview of who's to catch the ball next season.
So now here comes the kick from Behrens. Good connection on it this time. They're going to take it back all the way back from the 7. Now on the return, not finding much, shut down at the 30. It's going to be 1st and 10. Kernals from the 30. 49-6 here. 43-point spread. That should definitely lead to a Washington win. So far, what has impressed you about the Warriors?
Impressed me about the Warriors is they came out here and they just blew out Mitchell as they should, a AAA team against a AA team. Huge confidence boost for Washington after these 2 losses. It's what you want. You have the string of good games, and hopefully that can give you the momentum to go up against the big Sioux Falls schools and come out with close wins and possibly 4-peat.
We'll see how that works out for Washington here, but it's a 1st and 10 for Mitchell. Here's Nelson, keeps on the option, runs forward, keeps his feet moving. I got to tell you, he moved the pile for an extra 1 or 2 yards there. 4-yard run for Nelson.
And interesting to see if they keep in Keel Nelson. I mean, they're down by 43 points. See how long they keep their starting quarterback in here.
It'll be interesting also on the flip side how long Washington decides to keep in starters on defense. Right now, you see a few substitutes coming in for Washington. That's not a full first unit, but it's also not a full second unit. They're mixing them in right now. And this is going to be Carson Max, and he is somehow still on his feet. I tell you what, he broke about 4 tackles there and gets 2 yards.
Great job by Max on that. He only gained about 2 or 3 yards, but he stood up and he wasn't tackled in the backfield for a loss of about 1 or 2. I think Mitchell's just going to run it out here. And the quarter.
To end the quarter, Mitchell, it does look like they're going to run it out here. That's going to end the 3rd quarter. Heading to the 4th, 49-6. Washington has the lead here on homecoming night. We'll be back to start off the 4th quarter.
Sanford Power helps young athletes discover their true athletic potential. Though no matter the sport, by utilizing certified coaches, proven practices, and the latest technologies. Sanford Power, proud sponsor of the Sioux Falls School District.
Welcome back to Howard Wood Field here, 49-6. Washington has a huge lead on Mitchell, but Mitchell does have the ball here, 3rd and 4 at the 36. We'll see if they can convert this, try to get something going. I assume they ran out the clock here. I think they've about had it with this game.
Yeah, Mitchell just looking to run out these last 12 minutes to get on the bus, go home, and just regroup for their. This isn't that bad of a loss because Mitchell's.
And Max is on the run.
Mitchell's competition is AA, so okay, they get creamed by a AAA team. That's fine. Their championship odds are looking for AA.
And now, Mitchell gets that first down. Carson Max on a big run, and as you were saying, Mitchell is going to look to regroup from this. It's okay. They came here. They knew it wasn't going to be an easy game. They had a lot of good moments. They had a lot of bad moments. They're going to regroup from this, and in the end, it'll make them stronger facing AA opponents.
That's definitely what you want for Mitchell.
And here comes Nelson, read option play, and he gets 5 yards, and there's going to be a personal foul called here as a second-string defense makes a little mental error there.
Sloppy second-string mistakes you can't have next year's starters, and I'm sure Coach Statham will tell him that after the game.
That is not what you want here, especially with the score being like this. To make a play like that, it just does not look well on your team. It reflects poorly on the team. That's going to be a personal foul, late hit out of bounds. That's going to be 15 yards, first down. So that's going to bring them all the way up to 26. Mitchell gaining some good ground here.
And with Los Mitchell this game, you look at the statistics here through 3 quarters. They have 147 rushing yards to Washington's 204. That's not fatal, but the 210 passing yards by Washington, Mitchell's 42 is really what killed him. A one-dimension offense cannot win games against a high-powered Washington Warriors team.
That is very true here as Nelson in the pistol. And the handoff again. It's going to be Carson Max, the fullback, running back hybrid. Keeps on running. And I got to say, Mitchell against the second string has done better, as you would predict here.
This is more
indicative of what they'll face in Double-A. So for them to be moving the ball here, it has to be a good sign here that they can just get some confidence. Have something to be proud about here at the end of this game.
Really, we talk about this Warrior passing offense has been great. They've only had 3 receivers who've caught the ball. It's Pearson with 4, Anderson with 3, and Hansen with 1. And Pearson has 156 yards, and Hansen and Anderson have a combined 54. This has been the Gabe Pearson and Tubac Capella show today here at Howard Field.
It'll be interesting to see here what Nelson and company do. They do trail by 43 points, and I'm sure they would love to get a touch on here. Here's Carson Max again on the run, and he is just bullying his way. That offensive line is making some big holes, and to their credit, yes, this is a second-string defense, but that offensive line has held its own against a really strong 3-man front for the Warriors.
And that should be bothersome to Washington because you look at that great front 3, people like Peyton Newsman, Abdurlin, your seniors, your leaders are not. You look at Mitchell, but the offense is predictable, lots of runs up the middle, and Washington knows that, and they're still not really stopping them.
Now, obviously, they've held them. Mitchell hasn't scored much, but that's what you expect against a Double-A team, but there's been too many holes here for Washington that they're going to have to shore up against the likes of OG, the likes of a Roosevelt, even Brandon Valley, who they only beat Brandon Valley by 14 points.
And the likes of, you look at Lincoln is slowly coming on, and Lincoln won't face Washington until the last game of the season, so both teams will be in prime form when they face each other. Lincoln's been a big rivalry. Lincoln's been sort of a walkover for Washington last 2 years. Won't be this way this year. Not sure if Lincoln's going to win, but they will be
improved. And Washington has seemed to digress a little bit compared to the last 2 years, of course. And now Nelson, quarterback draw, he's going to walk his way right in the end zone. Touchdown, Kernals. Mitchell gets back on the board here in the second half. It's going to make it 49-12, and they're going to kick an extra point here to make it 49-13 if it goes in, get back within 36 points.
You talk about the aggression of the Warrior defense. You look at people like Seth Benson, who went to University of Iowa, Big Ten school. Brock Walker, defense by University of Minnesota, Big Ten school. They have lost major players who
all over the field. The offense as well. Too. Offense, we've seen it. The running game tonight has been dominant, but against OG and Roosevelt, it wasn't quite there. And you can attribute that to they lost a bunch. Alignment of that extra point is way off. 49-12 here. Washington leads Mitchell, but like we've said, Washington has played well, but there has been there's still some areas of concern. Washington, of course, they rushed well, but you expect that against a Double-A team. We'll see. That we got to wait to see what they can do against a Triple-A team, and that's kind of been the question here.
If you're Washington, you can't beat a Double-A team enough to say, wow, this team's really good. You can only beat them well enough to say, okay, this team's where we expected. The only thing that can happen in these games is the games can be too close or possibly a loss, and people could say, wow, something's wrong with a AAA team. AAA teams can never beat these AA teams and walk away saying, well, we were a very good team, because it's what's to be expected.
But overall, no doubt this is a positive for Washington. They have looked strong in the run. They've looked strong in the pass. The few areas of concern would be the rushing defense, and that's about it. Otherwise, they've been solid. That's a booming kick all the way for a touchback there by number 1, Trevor Lambert. So, Washington will get the ball at the 20, and they have 9:37 left in this quarter. I would assume the second string is going to come back on to the field. But right now, Capella's right outside the huddle, but yeah, he's not going to make his way in. Thompson trots out.
Along with Barron's at
quarterback.
Running back.
Yep, Barron's at running back. I don't see any usual starting receivers outside of Tyus Hansen. Tyus Hansen far left here. And now be Thompson, the shotgun, handoff to Barron's, get shut down in the backfield. That's a little concerning considering Washington still has a lot of their offensive linemen in.
On offensive line for Washington is a concern, though, whether it's first or second string behind him. But you're starting to see other running backs or wide receivers like Brennan Tornell's checked into the game. Looks like Dylan Madsen's in there, along with a lot of other normally buried down on the depth chart bench players. We'll get to see some time.
So now Thompson again. He's going to look to throw. Evades pressure. A good play there by him. He's going to keep running it. And he gets upended at the 26. Way to avoid pressure. Way to get a few yards there.
Max Thompson obviously hasn't played too much. Doesn't look too natural with that run. Obviously there was some pressure, and he'll grow into it. People really didn't think Johansson was much of a runner until this senior year, but
he will have plenty of time to grow into it here. And now it's a 3rd and short. We'll see if Mitchell can come with the stop, get some more moral victories here. And now it'll be Thompson the gun, fakes a handoff, steps in the pocket, throw was too low and knocked away at the last second there. So that was intended to Kellen Fultz. Didn't get there and was knocked down. So that's going to be 4th down, and Washington is going to punt here with 8:20 left in this 4th quarter. This homecoming game for Washington. Barron's will be there to punt, and there'll be two people to return back for Mitchell. There'll be Austin Kerr and Drew Kitchens back there. And good punt there by Barron's. It's going to take not the best roll as it came back. So Mitchell's going to get it at the 44-yard line here. 1st and 10. Washington leads this game by a lot. 37 points here on homecoming night. This is the type of homecoming victory you expect from Washington, and it was good for them to finally get some momentum back over those last 2 games that were real downish for them.
And Washington just really put on the gas here. Even with the second string, Max Thompson's first pass was a 61-yard touchdown with Gabe Pearson, so still not really letting up, not just pounding the ball, running out the clock, but see what Mitchell does.
Now Nelson under the gun. He's going to pitch it out there to his running back, who gets shut down way behind the line of scrimmage. That's going to be number 11, Dylan Krogman, on the run. Excuse me, that's going to be number 41, Parker Phillips, on the run. Oh, and actually, Nelson is no longer out there here for Mitchell. And believe that's Kerr who's in there as he pitched it out to Phillips. So Parker Phillips, they have brought in their second string. Both teams' first string seems to be done.
And as to be expected, like, it's a 37-point game with 7:18 left. Just a lot of running, and Kerr being a junior, is a preview of what the matchup could look like next year with Max Thompson for Washington and Austin Kerr for Mitchell.
And now it's going to be 3rd and 15 here. as the clock continues to wind down here in this fourth quarter. And now the pitch to Phillips. He is getting shut down in the backfield again. That is number 46, Gabe Frericks, on the stop. So Washington holds. More than hold, they push them back on 9 yards. So it's going to be another punt here for Mitchell, more likely than not. Yes, this will be a punt here, as Nelson comes back out to punt. So Mitchell with the punt. It is up, it's high. The wind pushes it. And Tavian Shaw muffed it. And I'm not sure who got on it. I believe it's going to be Mitchell football. So Tavian Shaw back there to receive the punt. It went right through his arms, and that's going to be Mitchell football.
And Tavian Shaw, just one of those other bench players you don't see too often.
But coming in here to make a punt return. That one obviously did not work out well, but late in this game.
And he'll stay in the game as a defensive back here. They're really putting in the B team now.
Yeah, we have a full, I believe we have full second string for both teams on the field right now, both Mitchell and Washington. So both teams have accepted the outcome here. As that's number 88 in for, believe, if I saw that right, number 88, Blake Fredericks for Mitchell. He was in at quarterback there quick for the Kernals. He's listed as a defensive end, so interesting here.
A small one at 175. That's a good 30 pounds lighter than starting quarterback Keel Nelson.
It's an interesting move here as they go to seemingly their third string quarterback. And then the wild snap, they just jump on it. That's going to bring up third and long here. I believe third and 12 for the Kernals. So third and 22. That's a loss of 12 there. Actually, you're going to mark it at the 46. That's going to be in total a loss of 13, bring up third and 21 for the Kernals.
Interesting. Fredericks listed as a sophomore. So this probably, like I said, is the third string quarterback for Mitchell, but you don't usually see a defensive end / quarterback hybrid here.
Very interesting. That is, you do not see that often at all. And they're just going to hand it off to Phillips here. Phillips, to his credit, makes a solid run, a solid 5-yard run. That's going to bring up fourth and 26, and yeah, we're going to see another punt. We'll see. It'll be interesting to see who they put back to return this after the last one was muffed by Tavian Shaw, or if they even decide to punt. You never know at this point in the game.
Don't have anything to lose if you're Mitchell here. And
if you're Mitchell, you might as well just get another practice. It's basically practice reps for your young guys. But it looks like they're lining up to punt.
Is that Fredericks?
That's going to be Fredericks punting. Mitchell has gone now to the backup punter as well. Nope. No. Now Nelson will be punting. Weird events here coming from Mitchell. Fourth and 16 here now will be the punt. High again. No one was back there to get it. I don't think they wanted to risk another muffed punt. And this is going to roll slowly to the 10-yard line. Washington lead 49-12 there. 3.5 minutes left in this one. More likely than not, you'll see them run out the clock.
Yeah, and just you see Mitchell. I mean, they're putting in defensive end in a lot of positions. They're not having fun with it, but they're just saying, well, we're just not going to risk.
They don't want to risk any injuries here in garbage time.
Great day for obviously Tupac Pay with a great day with his record and all that stuff, but gotta be a fun day if you're Blake Fredericks coming in at quarterback for a few snaps, almost punting.
Listed as a DN. Yeah, so we'll see here now. Washington, we assume, will trot out Thompson and company here, the second strings. But it'll be interesting to see what they do with their offensive line, because they've kept their offensive line in. But now I believe they've even gone second string there, as as a few backup linemen enter this game here. And Thompson still in the gun with Barons, I believe, for the Warriors. And it'll be the handoff to Barons, goes outside and gets to the 12, 13. They're going to mark it at the 14. So 4-yard gain there from Barons. It's going to bring up 2nd and 6. Oh, now they're going to remark it at the 13. So 2nd and 7 for the Warriors. 3:15 left in this one. This homecoming game that Washington has handled extremely well. And now Thompson in the gun. And he will get snap. And they'll hand off to Barons again. Shut down after a gain of about 1. So they're going to say it's a loss of... That's going to be actually pulled back for a loss of 1. So 2:36 left in this one. 49-12. Washington with the lead.
Mitchell with only one timeout left, excuse me. You really got to think we're going to see maybe 1 or 2 at most more offensive plays run, and Max Thompson will just start taking knees here and end this game with a nice 37-point win.
Depending on if they get a first down, of course.
Good point, yes, 3rd down.
But more likely than not, we're going to see the end of this game here without a fuss. As Thompson, he's got to throw here on 3rd and 8. Makes the throw as he's getting hit. And incomplete. 1:59 on the clock now for the Warriors.
Max Thompson doesn't look too comfortable in the pocket. And obviously, B-team offensive line, he's not exactly a lot of time, but doesn't seem... And he is a freshman. This is his first game action, but something he should work on is definitely his pocket presence, his mobility. And Joe Anson's going to obviously be better as a senior, but this young man's the future of Washington.
It's a learning experience for the young kid here. And now the bad snap there. Barons barely gets it off. And Washington downs it at about the 44. So actually I believe that it's going to go where they originally touched it, right around the 40, 41, 40 and a half. Washington leads this game here 49-12. Mitchell should be ending this game with the ball.
Unless Fredericks kind of come out as quarterback.
Fredericks again? Fredericks in at quarterback. Fredericks in at quarterback. Fredericks in the gun. High snap. Runs it. Looking a lot like Nelson there on the run. And he gets a nice 5-yard gain as the clock continues to run.
Funny enough, like I said, with the height and weight difference, Keelan Nelson is a good 2 inches and 25 pounds heavier than Blake Fredericks. Fredericks does look heavier, of course. Defensive lineman got more muscle in some areas, but...
And now it'll be Fredericks again. Fredericks once again on the quarterback keep. Gets it 2-3 yards there. 3rd and 2 now. A minute left in this game. That should be it as the Warriors students prepare to rush onto the track and greet their Warriors after their win. Now on the 50 seconds, the clock is running. Fredericks come back out on 3rd and 2. See if they can get another little moral victory, get a first down. This one should be over regardless, but as the clock continues to run. And the handoff to Phillips, the jet sweep. And he gets absolutely shut down there behind the line. It's going to bring up 4th and 5.
And Fredericks will go to the sideline, and I don't think they're going to call another play.
And that...
No.
14 seconds left. More likely than not, that will do it. And as everyone prepares to shake hands at the 50, that is going to be it. Washington Washington wins their homecoming game 49-12 here against lowly Division II AA Mitchell here, 49-12. They played extremely well. Mitchell had a few good moments, but overall we're just overpowered by the Warriors.
A nice confidence booster win for Washington here. They have a slate of slightly easy to medium games.
Winnable games.
Winnable games, and really their next competition will be against Lincoln in middle of October. But no, good start, good game for Washington. Great win, good confidence booster. Back to 2-2. Might not rise up in the polls, but that's okay. Just stop that losing skid and get back on the right track here.
All right, and that is it here on KLRN Sports for me and August Mills here.